Hello friends, welcome to the Blockthrasher Daily Morning Crypto Update. It is a beautiful but very, very cold Saturday morning, February 13th. We are seeing freezing temperatures here in the Houston, Texas area, and there's even the possibility and expectation, the news is stating, for snow and temperatures to reach only a high of 20-something degrees this Monday. Very, very different, very unique for southern Texas, where it's usually hot. Of course, I'm just wintering here, only here for a short time. This is only my home during the winter season, but I am enjoying the weather because I am used to a colder climate normally. Anyway, moving on to today's updates in the cryptocurrency space. The best way to summarize this last week would have been that alts surge while Bitcoin holds steady. And this is something that we often see when Bitcoin rises 20, 30, 40%, and we're in a bull market as we have been. The Bitcoin price will start to go sideways for a while and money will flow out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. And that is exactly what we have seen this last week. So we're going to take a look at the market today. We're going to do a quick overview of prices and see where everything sits. Then we're going to look at the Cardano is offering $1 million in its fund number 4. They're calling it Fund 4. So something about Cardano that's really fantastic is that they have ADA that's been set aside by the Cardano Foundation, and that is available through the Catalyst system, which is the governance system, to be given to developers who have good ideas. And I'm going to be looking at that quite a bit today, actually, because that can help us find new projects that might be really worth looking into and considering as investments. Also, I want to talk to you about a killer strategy of investment for 2021. We're going to talk about this Alpha Humora hack that just happened last night and look at some of the details of that. Definitely not the most positive thing for DeFi, but I'm going to talk about how I think that stuff's going to be resolved moving forward anyway. And then I've got a number of really solid alt projects to keep an eye on in 2021, including some that most likely you've never heard of and one that hasn't even launched as of yet. But I think that it is going to be something to keep an eye on. Awesome. Let's move over to the markets and take a look at what is happening with cryptocurrency prices today. Now, Bitcoin is actually at the moment up 1.21%. It saw a good week, no doubt, up 17% in the last 7 days, sitting at 47,214. But it's been playing with that 45,000 to 50, not quite yet hit 50,000 range. And just sort of, if you look at the little graph over there on the right, if you're watching by video rather than listening to the podcast, you can see that the chart is sort of just going sideways and has been pretty much for the last 7 days. Now, Ethereum has reached an all-time new high of $1,800 and has been sitting around there for the last couple days as well. It is currently up 3.21% to $1,815. Cardano. Now, here's what I'm talking about with the alts pumping while Bitcoin sort of held steady. We've got Cardano up 66% this week. We've got XRP up 36%. We've got Polkadot up 42%. We've got Binance Coin up 74%. Litecoin 28%. Chainlink 21%. So all of the alts in the top 10, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, seeing a very, very, very good week. Now, Cardano is currently sitting at 89 cents. It's been around the 89 to 90, 91, 92, 93 cents the last 3 days. Doing very, very well. XRP is currently 61 cents, and XRP has been a surprise actually this week. Obviously, with all of the concerns that came out during the holiday season about the SEC charging that XRP might be considered a security and that they were selling an unregistered security. However, the market does not seem to care about that. At the moment, it is up 36% and doing actually quite well. Polkadot had a phenomenal week. It now sits at $28.85. Things are looking good for Polkadot. Binance Coin, of course, has been the week's winner, up 74.27% this last week, sitting at $131.02, looking good. Litecoin has been doing incredibly well too. It's impressive. It's at $215.25. Chainlink is $30.60. Dogecoin actually had it's if we look at it this week, Dogecoin is actually down. It's definitely going sideways and trending downward at the moment. It is at 6 cents currently. Uniswap sort of doing the same. It's sort of been slightly up for the week, 13.26%. I know it's funny. We're in such a bull market that 13.26% is like slightly up relative to some of the others, but it is at $22.07. Aave coming in at number 15 is at $508. That will cover it for the market overview and the prices for the week. I think that will be sufficient for us. Moving on. Going to talk just for a second about the Bitcoin dominance. If you're watching on video, you can see the chart here. Looking back historically for 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way through 2016, Bitcoin was enjoying an 80+% dominance, often in the 90%, 93 up to 95% rate even. And then in July or January of 2017, it just plummeted and it dropped. Now, what happened back then, if you were around, and you might recall, for those of you who weren't, was that there was this ICO craze, and all these tokens were coming out, initially offering initial coin offerings, and people were just going into Ethereum so that they could buy these initial coin offerings, and you just get in early on that ground floor, and so that drove the Bitcoin dominance percentage down to 37.84%, and Ethereum rose up to 31.17%. Now, to relate that to where we sit today, Bitcoin's dominance is down to 60%, and Ethereum is at 15%. So 30% back in 2017 for Ethereum to 15% today. And Bitcoin was at 37.8. Now we can see that the lowest it looks like it's gone in terms of dominance, Bitcoin was 33.39%. And that would have been on Sunday, the 1st of, looks like, July of 2018. Then Bitcoin's dominance started to trend up all throughout 2018, 2019, 2020, kind of held steady and started to drop at the end of 2020, and peaked again up to a high of almost 70% in March of 2021, and now is starting to come back down and is at 60%. Now, just going to stop for a second here and talk more theoretically, or not theoretically, and maybe ideologically, or about this whole idea here. Obviously, within the cryptocurrency space, there are those which would refer to themselves or call themselves Bitcoin maximalist, and they sort of believe that everything else is, they call them shit coins, everything else is crap, and everything else is going to die, and it's all going to go to Bitcoin eventually. And I just wanted to share really quickly why I don't think that's, number one, true. Number two, it's probably not the best ideology to adopt, and here are the reasons why I think that is the case. Part of the whole point of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrency was the idea of decentralization. And decentralization simply means that there isn't any one entity or any one group that can control your currency. So with countries and fiat currencies, that's not the case. Of course, it's centralized. We have a central bank, and that central bank controls everything about the cryptocurrency. Not the cryptocurrency, the currency, the fiat currency, the US dollar in the United States case. But the beauty of cryptocurrency is that it's decentralized, right? So there are, it's technologically decentralized in that there's miners and nodes running all over the world, which gives it incredible resiliency and redundancy. But on top of that, in terms of the economics of it and the structure of the system and the coin and all of that, it's set in code. And if there's a change that needs to be made, there has to be some sort of governance system to do that. And the community has to come together. The users have to come together, and they have to agree. And in the case of Bitcoin, you have to get the miners on board. The miners have to adopt that upgrade in the software that's going to make a change to that coin. So where I'm going with this is the idea that we want to have one currency is not, in my view, consistent with the idea of decentralization. And here's how. Competition is good, and within the cryptocurrency space, even within the world, it's never a good thing to have one thing dominate, right? We don't want to see one corporation dominate technologically and run everything that has to do with technology in the world, or run the entire internet or whatever. And in the same way, yeah, Bitcoin is great because it is decentralized, but competition is good. It creates innovation, and as the altcoins and as the developers of the altcoins and the communities that come behind the altcoins, as they fill certain niches that are things that need to be done, that problems that need to be solved, that brings new people in. It gets new people excited. It grows the entire space. And so that's one reason, in my view, for it. There's a resiliency in the same way that there's a resiliency on a decentralized network because it has nodes and miners all around the world. Having many currencies, but that are competing technologically speaking, but not just technologically speaking, also competing for network effect, competing for the biggest adoption and the biggest community to come alongside and support them. That pushes innovation. That pushes everything. It just drives and motivates people to get out there and to grow these communities and to develop these projects and these coins. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it would be a good thing for there to be just one single currency that dominates and becomes the global world's currency. There's risk even involved within that. And, if let's just say, theoretically speaking, the countries of the world banded together, or just even a few of them, with the resources of the United States federal government, and let's just say the resources of the European, of the Central European Central Union, or the ECB, or the Federal Reserve, or whatever these entities come together and they build the hardware that it would take. I think currently, I read this somewhere a while ago, and I'd probably have to double check, but it's something like $4 billion or $4 trillion it would take or something to build the hardware to be able to attack the Bitcoin chain with a 51% attack. But that would be a negative thing, right? And so with all the different currencies out there, the cryptocurrencies, it distributes all that out. If we're at currently a 1.4 trillion market cap within cryptocurrency space, 1.45, which is up a little bit today. It spreads all that out. It spreads the attack vectors out. And so that's a good thing. I think that's about. The other thing about that conversation is simply the fact that Bitcoin should do what it does well, and it does what it does well. And I think it's a great store of value. To try to then bring on top of it, and maybe some of those things are going to happen and be done really well. There'll be layer 2 protocols which will come along and allow smart contracts to operate on side chains and then finalize things onto the Bitcoin chain. And I've got no issue with that at all. I've got no problem with that. However, there are projects out there now, whether we look at Ethereum, which has its problems, we look at Cardano, we look at Polkadot, we look at Avalanche, we look at Phantom, we look at Algorand, we look at all these different products that are doing things. They're creating the technological capabilities and structures needed to build some of the things that just wouldn't be so easy to build on Bitcoin. And it isn't even that. Maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe at the end of the day, it's just that we don't need to do that. Like, we don't need to mess with that. We can leave Bitcoin alone. That's sort of what my philosophy would be regarding that. And I think it's a good thing the way the market is developing and going, and I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to create DeFi, it's going to create lending, it's going to create all types of dApps and applications that are going to run on top of the supercomputer that is going to be this cryptocurrency driven Web3 application platform that's connected to the cryptocurrencies as well. It's going to allow for financial things to be done, and I mean, just what's going to come over the next 5 years within the cryptocurrency space, I think it's going to be mind-boggling. It's going to be mind-blowing, and the technology that comes from it and the problems that are solved is just going to get people so excited, which means that this is early days. It's still good time. I mean, it's not too late to get in, is what I'm trying to say. And so when you take you zoom out and you take that big picture sort of macro look at everything, it's good. I mean, we've got 8,000 plus. What is CoinMarketCap listed? 8,437 currencies, and that might kind of just like, whoa, But again, many of those are going to fail. Many of those are going to do phenomenally well, and the competition is going to drive innovation. Now, one of the projects that I believe is going to come out on top of this, right now Cardano sits at number 3. If you remove Tether from the market cap list, Cardano's number 3. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I don't like to be a fanboy of anything, and I try to be as objective as I possibly can, but I do believe that Cardano is going to be number 2 sometime in the next couple of years. The approach that they've taken is just unparalleled, from the technology, from the programming languages that have been chosen, from the rigorous testing and the scientific minds that they're bringing in, the way they've gone about authenticating everything and verifying everything and doing the research. And, it's been slow. And a lot of people have criticized Cardano because all these other projects are just coming out, and launching Tesos and Justin Sun's Tron, and the list goes on, and EOS, and everybody was like, haha, look at Cardano, it doesn't even have a product. But while those other projects were rushing things out, including Ethereum, Cardano was methodologically and strategically doing the work that it takes to build the most verifiable algorithm for proof of stake, for instance, Ouroboros, or just thinking through and analyzing everything and saying, hey, let's build this thing right before we launch it. Let's look at it this way. If we're going to build the global operating system, financial operating system, or a global operating financial system for the world, this is something that needs to be done with great care and patience and diligence. It's sort of like if we're going to launch a rocket to the moon, we want to make sure that we've thought about, hey, how do we get that rocket back to Earth? We've got to thoroughly, rigorously test every single thing to make sure that there isn't going to be a problem down the road. And this is what Cardano has done. And we're starting to see the benefits of that. We're starting to see it. So we're starting to see projects talk about leaving Ethereum and coming to Cardano. And these are the reasons why. I'll get to it a little bit later on, some details about that in one example. But it's like, if we're going to build on top of a platform and we've got some revolutionary idea, we need to know that it's not going to fail. In fact, there's a hack, which is what we're going to move on today. Transitioning into that, there was a hack that happened overnight, a DeFi hack, which illustrates exactly what the problem is that I am talking about. And that is that if you haven't done the rigorous testing and you have these possibilities for errors in your code with smart contracts, it can open up a vector point and a risk of a hack, which is exactly what happened. In today's news, it's $37,500,000 lost by Cream DeFi in largest flash loan attack ever. Now, if we go through and we read about this, what we will see is that Cream's smart contracts actually were not hacked. This occurred through a project called Alpha Homora. So the 37 million that was lost actually was an exploit on the Alpha Homora DeFi application. In one of the largest exploits of the DeFi era, this morning an attacker successfully drained over 37 million from Alpha Homora by leveraging Cream's Iron Bank protocol to protocol lending platform. Alpha Finance Lab, whose protocol was audited by QuantStamp and PeckShield, announced on Twitter this morning that they were aware of an attack, that the loophole that allowed it had been patched, and that the team had a prime suspect. So that's a good thing. If you're watching on the video, this is the Alpha Homora DeFi website and application interface. But let's go back and look at the details outlined in u.today of this attack. In this attack, 5 protocols were involved. This is pretty sophisticated stuff going on here. These guys must have taken, it's amazing, the creative capabilities sometimes of hackers. If we could just funnel that, and often it is, into white hacking, or funnel that into development of great projects and protocols and systems, that would be a great thing. According to the official announcement by Cream today, an exploit of the protocol's mechanism was disclosed on February 13th around 9 a.m. UTC, and an investigation began immediately after this warning. Cream Finance posted, "We are aware of a potential exploit and are looking into this. Thank you for your support as we investigate." Seasoned crypto researcher Igor Agamberdev promptly released his suggestions as to the attack's design. According to his report, the attackers used another top 10 DeFi Alpha Homora to authorize a series of borrowings of SUSD from Iron Bank, Cream's system. Then all assets were immediately lent back to Iron Bank in order to receive SUSD. Then the malefactors took out a flash loan on Aave protocol and swapped it for US dollars through Curve Finance. The entire massive amount of money was used to take more CYSUSD again and again. When the sum of CYSUSD reached a level of incredible, quote, the hackers lent wrapped Ethereum's WETH and stablecoins USDC, USDT, and DAI to their victim. As a result, 13,200 WETH, wrapped ETH, 3,600,000 USDC, 5,600,000 USDT, and 4,200,000 DAI were transferred to the attackers' pockets. They then sent stablecoins to Aave, laundered some coins to Tornado Cash, and granted 100 Ethers to Tornado. Thus, more than 11,000 Ethers stayed in their wallet. Now, one of the things that might be an issue here, and I am still looking into this myself and trying to figure out technologically the differences in some of these things, but I'm going to speculate a little bit here. And I'm just going to say that some of what might be an issue going on here is the difference between the accounting mechanism versus the UTXO model that's used by Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin having the UTXO model and Ethereum having the accounting method. And interestingly enough, Cardano and some others like Nervos and others are using the UTXO model on their smart contract platforms. It could just be that the issue here is that the DeFi projects that are being built on Ethereum, the smart contracts, they allow for the tokens that are held within them to be locked up, but not where the user that's locking them up on that DeFi protocol still has control and full custody of that asset, right? Whereas with the UTXO model, from some of the stuff I've read and looked at, and I need to verify this more, and I will be, and I'll be bringing you more information about this in coming episodes, but when DeFi launches on Cardano, for instance, or on Nervos or some of the other platforms that use the UTXO model as a system, it's likely that you'll be able to lock up your tokens within DeFi for lending purposes, for interest earning purposes, or whatever. But you still will have custody of those tokens and can unlock them at any time. So there won't be, and even I've seen this happen. There was a project called Katana Finance that launched maybe 6 months or a year ago amongst the DeFi hype and craze when everybody was looking at Uniswap and SushiSwap and all the nonsense that happened with SushiSwap as well. But this Katana Finance was offering, incredible interest, ROI gains of 1,000%. And so you could do you could throw your Ethereum, just for illustration, $100 of Ethereum, get $100 of Katana on Uniswap, throw it into the liquidity pool, earn 1,000% return, etc. Well, one day they just disappeared. Telegram goes down, website goes down. All those coins are locked in, right? All that ETH is locked in. Nobody can get it. None of the users can pull it out, right? So, the smart contract had been audited, but there was an error or a problem within the smart contract where the team just disappeared, and no one's able to unlock those coins and unlock their LP tokens that have been created on Uniswap and go back and get the crypto back. So these are the problems that need to be solved and that need to be addressed. And I do believe Cardano is actually providing a solution to that. If that is true, if all of that proves to be true and I understand it correctly, that's going to be a phenomenal thing. That's just going to make DeFi on Cardano just go nuts. If you can use a Uniswap type of liquidity pool and put your crypto in it and your native assets that are on the Cardano chain, and you can do all the things that you do with DeFi but still have custody of that you can pull it out at any time and have no risk of losing it, that's going to be huge. So we'll be watching that as we move forward. All right, moving on. Now I am going to jump to the next segment, which is a killer strategy for 2021. This is I'm going to talk about this in terms of Cardano, but it would also hold true for Polkadot or Avalanche or Phantom or Algorand or any of the platform projects in which new projects and coins will be launching. The strategy is simply this. It is to look for and watch for projects that are launching on the Cardano blockchain, that are launching on Polkadot. Find them in the early stages. Look at their teams. Evaluate those teams and see if they look like they could be the next Uniswap, for instance, or the next Chainlink or whatever. And find and locate those, and then I will bring those to you. But you can do this yourself as well. And I have a couple of those for you here today. So let's move on to that. Here are some solid alt projects that I think everybody should be watching and investing in 2021. The first is Singularity.net. I've talked about this project a number of times. It is up 56.21% at the moment. When I first started talking about it, if you jumped in, it was right at 6 cents, I believe. Yeah. Now we're sitting at a price of 28 cents. What is Singularity.net? And its token is AGI, which, artificial general intelligence is what that stands for. It is currently ranked number 129 in terms of coin market capitalization. Singularity.net is building an artificial intelligence marketplace. Not building, it already exists. Singularity.net AGI started out on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's providing a marketplace where creators and developers of artificial intelligence can sell their products, receive financing, track the sales, and do a bunch of other cool things. The idea behind this here is to create a way for the best minds within the artificial intelligence world to be able to launch, finance, sell their products without having to go to the big corporations, without seeing Google and Amazon or Facebook or whoever Microsoft dominate the artificial intelligence world. That's what Singularity.net is striving to do. It allows anybody to easily create, share, and monetize AI services thanks to its globally accessible AI marketplace. Through the Singularity.net marketplace, users can browse, test, and purchase a huge variety of AI services using the platform's native utility token, AIG. Moreover, the marketplace represents an outlet AI developers can use to publish and sell their AI tools and easily track performance. The team behind Singularity.net, Ben Gorbals and his team, pioneered the development of an AI known as Sophia, which is described as the world's most expressive robot. Singularity.net's goal is to enable Sophia to be able to fully understand human language and continue developing OpenCog, an AI framework that is hoped to eventually achieve a state of known as Advanced General Intelligence, or AGI, human-level artificial intelligence, or beyond. The platform was first announced in 2017 and completed an initial coin offering, ICO, in December the same year, raising $36 million in just 1 minute. How about that? $36 million in 1 minute. Singularity.net has an exclusive team largely of AI scientists, developers, researchers, and engineers. It was founded by Dr. Ben Gorbals, Singularity.net's CEO and chief scientist, in addition to Simone Giacomelli and Dr. David Hansen. Dr. Gorbals is an established figure in the AI and robotics industry and has long distinguished track record of working with advanced technology companies, including Hansen Robotics, OpenCog Foundation, and others. Singularity.net has announced, and Ben Gorbals has announced, that they will be partnering with Cardano, that they will be partnering with Charles Hoskinson, and Gorbals stated that the reason they're doing this is because they've simply found that trying to provide the services and technology that they wanted on Ethereum has proven to be very, very difficult. And he's incredibly excited about what is happening with Cardano and is looking to this partnership, looking to see this blossom, looking to be able to do the things that they need to be do. He's carefully looked at the technology behind Cardano and is determined that it is going to be the best platform for them to be able to accomplish what they need to do with their artificial intelligence services and products. In an article recently by NewsBTC, it states that this partnership with Singularity.net is a chance for Cardano to become the best. AI firm Singularity.net today announced a partnership deal with Cardano. Previously, Singularity.net operated exclusively on the Ethereum blockchain. As such, many have taken the news as a significant blow for Ethereum stakeholders. We're extremely excited to announce our collaboration with Cardano, and you can read the rest of the story if you want to check that out later. But this is a project to watch, I would say, absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt. Very exciting things happening here. You can pick up Singularity.net currently on Binance, Uniswap, KuCoin, and other places as well. Okay, that's the first coin to keep an eye on for 2021 that I wanted to introduce you to today if you haven't already been introduced to it. Now here's another. This is definitely one of the lesser known projects within the cryptocurrency space right now. It is Bondly, 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 ranking at number 396 in terms of market capitalization. When I first looked at Bondly maybe 3 or 4 months ago, it was 12 cents. It is now 45 cents. Of course, everything's been benefiting from this bull market for sure. It currently has a market cap of $48 million. Bondly. What is Bondly? Well, why do I think Bondly might be something to watch? Number one, Bondly has a great team. Number two, Bondly is partnering with Cardano. Bondly may be one of the first DeFi applications to launch on the Cardano blockchain. In blockchain news, just as a quick excerpt here, it says that Cardano's first DeFi project revealed as partnership with Bondly Finance announced. Input Output Hong Kong IOHK has just announced a new partnership that would enable the first decentralized finance DeFi project on the network. So this goes along with that strategy that I was talking about at the very beginning of this episode of looking for coins that are going to be launching and utilizing the Cardano blockchain. Also, Bondly provides an opportunity for users to earn through staking, earn through liquidity pool. I'm just going to pull up Bondly's website actually, because I did not have it here, and I will show you some of what I'm talking about if you're on the video. Also, if I can spell Bondly, maybe that will help me. Bondly is a leader in the EFT, or looking to be, I should say, or becoming a leader in the EFT marketplace. They are creating, not EFT. I was distracted by trying to find this site I wanted to pull up. What I'm talking about is NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So if you're not aware of what an NFT is it's a token that's on a blockchain. It's basic, but it's not fungible. So fungible tokens are like money. Money, $1 is the same as another dollar. A Bitcoin is the same as another Bitcoin. So it's transferable back and forth. We can trade that back and forth, and I can give you my ADA, and you can give me your ADA, and if it's the same amount, it's worth exactly the same, and there's no difference. It's indistinguishable. It's fungible. Non-fungible tokens are unique in that they have a cryptographic identifier that is there can be just one. It can be a single non-fungible token that exists, or you can create a limited supply of a particular token that can make 100. And so then what happens with these NFTs is it gets attached to digital art or other items. It could be all kinds of things. This type of technology can be used for documents, for deeds, for all kinds of things. But then what can happen is if I'm a creator, an artist, let's say, for instance, and in this case, Bondly has partnered with Logan Paul, to sell his art. And so he might create just one of an item, and you were the owner of that. And so it could be if there's demand for it and you have that incredibly limited supply of just one, it could become worth. Could be very, very valuable. And there have been NFTs that have sold for millions of dollars already. Or Logan could create 10 of one piece of art or something along those lines. So you can just see where this could go. So Bondly is creating what they call, there's a number of projects, which is one is Bond Swap, but then one is an NFT marketplace where people are going to be able to buy and sell these products. Bondly seeks to be somewhat blockchain agnostic and provide this ecosystem and all these different products and features across the different platforms. So whether it be Ethereum or Polkadot or Cardano, that said, they are partnering with Cardano to bring these services and the DeFi to that platform. So definitely a project to watch. The NFT space is just going to explode in coming years, and if Bondly does a good job of keeping on top of that and bringing innovative projects and products, they're going to do, I think, very well. So it's one worth taking a look at. Singularity.net, Bondly. What else do I have to bring to you today? Okay, this is called Liquid, and Liquid was a winner. Let's just circle back first. I started out the show by talking about Cardano's governance system and its Catalyst project, right? Where people are going to be able to, users are able to vote and are able to use some of the money that's in the fund to help launch new projects. If somebody has a proposal, you have idea for a great new application and you want to build it on Cardano, you can go to the Cardano community through the Catalyst system and you can present your proposal. So it's sort of like some of the what is the ideas I'm sort of blanking on right now, but GoFundMe, that type of thing, would be similar in idea. And so Liquid was a winner of the Fund 2 round of within the Catalyst system, and so they did receive some funds to launch. Now, what is this Liquid product? It is a DeFi product. It is an open source, algorithmic, and non-custodial liquidity protocol for earning interest on Cardano's native assets and borrowing supported assets. So like I was talking about earlier on, that interesting, that the non-custodial liquidity. That's good. That's big. I mean, if it means what I'm thinking it means right now, that you're going to be able to provide liquidity to the Liquid platform, which is sort of like, think of it as Uniswap, where people can exchange their assets back and forth. That's going to be a really, really great thing. So the team implementing has launched several DeFi dApps on Ethereum and is looking to bring this to Cardano, developing the smart contract, front back-end protocols, components, according to the fund. So what I'm reading here is just simply some of the information about what is they're asking. This is from Catalyst. They are asking for funding for round 3 to continue with this project and to get this running up and off the ground. This is the website. If you want to check it out, if you're listening, it's Liquid. It's liquid.finance. Now, this is a project that has not launched. There's no coin or anything like that yet. The team, interestingly enough, if we look at that, it looks like they're definitely not based in the U.S. This is coming out of South Africa or some other region like that primarily, which could be a good thing because it adds again, they're going to launch a Uniswap type application and platform that's not US based. There's not going to be any kind of KYC or anything like that, because as with Uniswap, it's going to be done through smart contract and everything's just going to be automated as with the rest of the DeFi type of thing. So I think that pretty much covers. Here I'm looking at the IOHK blog, and it's just simply stating that Liquid, Cardano lending markets for decentralized finance, creating an open source non-custodial liquidity protocol to earn interest on deposits and borrow assets in Cardano. Yeah, this is just a page that shows that Liquid did win funding from round 2. And so this might be a coin that you want to put on your, or an upcoming project that you might want to put on your list. If it launches successfully and becomes a good, useful protocol, it could be potentially a Uniswap or SushiSwap or 1inch of Cardano. Well, thank you so much, friends. As always, I would encourage you, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and set up notifications. Check out the podcast. These daily morning updates are also available on podcast format. You can get that from anchor.fm/blockthrasher. But we're also on Apple Podcast and Google and all of the rest. Spotify. You can find it everywhere. Check out the Facebook group at groups/Blockthasher on Facebook. And please visit blockthrasher.com and for the written content and for the daily updates as well, and consider becoming a member. Would love to have you as part of the community. Would love to get some of your support as well. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys again on Monday. And remember, friends, it's always a great time to stack more crypto. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Appreciate y'all. Bye now.